right, let's start at verse 6. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 6. All right, it says, blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Verse 7, it says, the Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. So that's the contrary. That's when the Most High God was with us. That's when he was with us. Who has an example, or who has some history when the Most High God allowed us to smite our enemies? All right. Think about some great history or some war. When did this prophecy come to pass? Think about that. Brothers, because we going through the blessings right now. Going through the blessings of Deuteronomy 28. So, search through your history real quick. Think about it. I know it's early. I'm trying to get myself going too. We got some smite Amalek under. Okay, that's a good one. That happened. All right, so understand we did that. So let's take it up a notch, right? Let's go to the book of 2 Samuel chapter 8. 2 Samuel chapter 8. The reason why we're going to use this one is because not only did we smite Amalek or Esau, we smote everybody. All right. So this is a good precept to show you through King David, and then once it reached up to King Solomon, we gained dominion over all of the nations. Watch this. This is 2 Samuel chapter 8. We'll start at verse 1. All right. 2 Samuel chapter 8 and verse 1. It says, and after this, and after this it came to pass that David smote the Philistines and subdued them. And David took Mattathias out of the hand of the Philistines. And he smote Moab and measured them with a line, casting them down to the ground. Even with 2 lines measured he put to death, and with 1 full line to keep alive. And so the Moabites were David's servants and brought gifts. What's another name for that? Because when we read this, we want to make it clear. When you overcome someone and they now bring you gifts, what's another name for that? Tributary. Meaning what? What do they call that today? When we know what it means in the scriptures, but taxes, exactly. So that's that means you actually run stuff. Let me find that precept. Actually, Bishop just went over this precept in a recent class. What do you say? Actually, yeah, Matthew 17. There you go. Real black power. Go to Matthew 17. Bishop just went over this. So that shows that we used to run the world. So Christ says this out of his own mouth. Matthew 17 and verse 24. Matthew 17 and 24. It says, and when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter and said, doth not your master pay tribute? He saith, yes. And when he was come into the house, Jesus prevented him, saying, what thinkest thou, Simon, of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children or of strangers? Peter saith unto him, of strangers. Jesus saith unto him, then are the children free. So he's saying, once you, or the Israelites, once you take tribute, that means you are what? You are now free. But I know since I've been alive, we've always paid taxes to Esau. Even in the time of Christ, they was paying taxes to who? Caesar, which was the Romans. So showing you what? We have been slaves for thousands and thousands of years. So Christ is saying out of his own mouth, until you have the other nations paying you tribute, you are a slave. So let's go back to 2 Samuel chapter 8 and verse 2. 2 Samuel 8 and 2. This is why we're going here, just to show you how not only did we have Moabites pay tribute, it was everybody. All right, as we read down. 2 Samuel chapter 8 verse 2. And he smote Moab and measured them with a line, casting them down to the ground. Even with 2 lines measured he to put to death, and with 1 full line to keep alive. And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts. David smote also, Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zebah, as he went to recover his border at the river Euphrates. And David took from him 1,000 chariots and 700 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. And David huffed all the chariot horses, but reserved them for 100 chariots. And when the Syrians of Damascus came to succor Hadadezer, king of Zebah, David slew the Assyrians, 22,000 men. So that's showing you how great our forefather was, King David. Nothing to be messed around with. So not only, let me see. So jumping back up to verse 3, it says, David smote Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zebah, as he went to recover his border at the river Euphrates. David took from him 1,000 chariots and 700 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. And David huffed all the chariot horses, but reserved of them for 100 chariots. Check it out. So he's fighting against one army, right? And then in verse 5 it says, and when the Syrians of Damascus came to succor means to help or to assist. So you got the Syrians, now they coming into the battle. So they teaming up against who? Against David and the Israelites, right? And it says, and when the Syrians of Damascus came to succor Hadadezer, king of Zobah, David slew of the Syrians 22,000 men. All right, so that's 22,000 people. Just, showing you how great our forefathers is. I like, to really get in it. Go to Sirach 47. Watch this. Just, just to give one of our forefathers some praise as he should get, King David. Go to Sirach 47 and 1, just to give you some attributes of our one of our greatest kings in history. It says, Sirach 47 and 1, and after him rose up Nathan to prophesy in the time of David. As is the fat taken away for peace offering, so was David chosen out of the children of Israel. So King David, he was not normal. He was not normal. He was a man of renown, meaning he was warlike. All right, verse 3. It says, he played with lions as with kids, and with bears as with lambs. Slew he not a giant when he was yet but young? And did he not take away reproach from the people? When he lifted up his hand with the stone in the sling and beat down the boasting Goliath. So it's showing you, even in that time, King David, he was set apart, man. When it came to war, nobody can mess with King David. Since we in Samuel, just go to 1 Samuel 17. Go to 1 Samuel 17. And (33), 1 Samuel 17:33, it says, and Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. Verse 34, and David said unto Saul, thy servant keep his father's sheep, And there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock, and I went out after him. Y'all have to understand that. Think about this. Who does that, right? All right. So say if it's like 5 brothers, man. Y'all walking back from camp or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? Say if camp wasn't that far from the school. Y'all walking back, and let's just say, right? Let's just say y'all had some dogs. Y'all had a pack of, y'all got some pit bulls, like 3 pit bulls or whatever. Y'all walking them. Y'all going back or whatever y'all at. And then a bear comes and takes a dog, right? Now, I got a question. If a bear comes and takes one of those pit bulls and takes them into the woods or whatever, who on here is going to chase after the bear? I need to know who's going to chase after the bear. Hey, brother examined himself, all right? The brother said, I'm not. And that's honesty. All praises, brother. So you ain't got nothing to be ashamed of, brother. You ain't got nothing to be ashamed of. Ananias says, nobody. Abaddon even took it up a notch. He said he's running, all right? He said he's running, all right? So, y'all gotta imagine this thing. Verse 35 34 says, and David said unto my servant, kept his father's sheep. So he's watching over his father's sheep. Then it says, and there came a lion and a bear. So not just a bear, a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him and smote him. He didn't do it with weapons, because we just read what? He played with lions and bears as he played with kids, right? So he's over here doing this with his bare hands, all right? It says, and I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. So he killed the lion and the bear and just took the young lamb out of his mouth and saved the lamb. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear. That's what y'all have to imagine. That's not normal. That ain't normal at all. And it says, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them. So check it out. This ain't when he's full of age. This is when King David's a child. This is what he was doing when he was a teenager or a young child. So another precept in Zechariah 12. Watch this. Just to show how great he was. Zechariah 12, and I believe it's 8. Yeah, it's Zechariah 12 and 8. Watch this. It says, in that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. So this is going into future prophecy. All right. So in that day the Lord shall defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. So think about it. Is every brother fit to go to camp? No. Every brother's not fit to go to camp. That doesn't mean he's a man of the Lord. All right. Everybody has their own spiritual gifts. Some brothers are very analytical. Some brothers deal with finances. You feel what I'm saying? Some people have that spirit. Some people have certain gifts with computers or whatever it may be. Everybody doesn't have that warlike spirit. Now check this out. Even the brothers who go to camp, ain't none of us got that spirit like King David. None of us. All right. None of us even come close to that. But check what the scripture's saying. It's saying, in that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. Meaning, those who are feeble, meaning those who are not in that warlike mentality, or weak or skinny, whatever it may be, they're going to be like King David. So in that day, think about it. If the whole nation of Israel could fight like King David, nobody could mess with us anyway. But the Most High is going to take it up a notch. Shall be as David. And the house of David, which is what? All of us, says the rest of us, the house of David, Judah, shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. All right. So it's showing you we're going to have some serious spiritual powers. All right, so the least of us is at least going to be running around like King David. All right, he was on some other stuff. So I digress. So let's go back to 2 Samuel 8. 2 Samuel 8. Let's see. Okay. And we were at verse 5. 2 Samuel 8 and verse 5. Okay, it says, and when the Syrians of Damascus came to succor Hadadezer, king of Zobah, David slew of the Syrians 22,000 men. Then David put garrisons in Syria of Damascus, and the Syrians became servants to David and brought gifts. The Lord preserved David whithersoever he went. And David took the shields of... I got a question. Watch this. We reading this history, right? Like, King David is literally doing what? He going from place to place, fighting these people and just beating them down. You feel what I'm saying? How come think about this. Think about all the great wars even after we became slaves. Think about the Maccabees. You feel what I'm saying? Judas and his brothers, how we just fought against the Grecians and then beat them. You feel what I'm saying? And they took back our land. Think about the Seminole Wars. Think about Northern Kingdom and Judah teaming up here in America. That's the hidden history. We was whooping Esau behind here in America. Think about how Levi gained their independence against the French. They beat they behind. Think about the Maroons, the Benjamites, how they beat down the British. Think about that, right? How come we just can't do that again, brothers? Think about it. How come we just can't do it again? Because we're reading about our forefather. That's what they did. They read about their forefathers. And they decided, we're going to fight against the enemy and whoop they behind. Thus save the Lord. How come we can't do that, brothers? Think about it. I want y'all to think. How come we haven't scratched our heads and said, you know what? We're being oppressed. How come we can't do that? That's simple. That's simple. God is not with us. God is not with us. The only time we're able to do that stuff is if the Most High God, be for us? Because it ain't us that's doing it. It's the Most High God. What's that in Joshua? Watch this. What is that? Is it 23? Is that what I want? Yeah. 23 and 10. Watch this. Joshua 23 and 10. It says, 1 man of you shall chase 1,000, for the Lord your God, he it is that fighteth for you, as he hath promised you. So that's the key. Brother Ananias hit it on the head. It's the Most High God who fights for us. Okay? So, just to kill that, this ain't no longer is this a carnal fight. It's spiritual. It's spiritual. But that showed you what? That showed you even in this state, this is a very low state. Think about Levi, man. Levi beat the hell out of them jokers and gained their own independence. But because of sin, Most High still made them, base. They're very, very base right now as a tribe, standing alone. All right, because God is not with them. That was all their own doing. But even in their lowest state, they were still able to overcome the enemies. All right, but Most High ain't dealing with us. All right, this is 2 Samuel 8 and 8. It says 8 and 8. And from Batah and from Barathai, cities of Hadadezer, King David took exceeding much brass. When Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had smitten all the hosts of Hadadezer, then Toi sent Joram, his son, unto King David, to salute him and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and smitten him. For Hadadezer had wars with Toi and Joram, brought with him vessels of silver and vessels of gold and vessels of brass. Verse 11, here's the point. Verse 11 is the point. It says, which also King David did dedicate unto the Lord, with the silver and gold that he had dedicated of all nations which he subdued. All right. As you read on and read on, once you get to King Solomon, what? We then as a nation were over everybody. All right. And that's how the Most High God set it up. From there, let me see. Let's go to Psalms 121. Psalms chapter 121. Yep. Excuse me. Psalms chapter 121 verse 1. It says, I will lift up mine eyes unto those from whence cometh my help. All right. Who wrote Psalms? Who wrote Psalms? Right. King David. King David wrote Psalms. All right. So let's see what he's saying. He's saying, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills from which cometh my help. So he's showing us what? He's showing, I know in all of those battles, all those wars, and in all this time, that his help coming from the Lord. That's why the Most High God mentions King David all of the time. He was a servant after his heart. That's why it says in 1 Kings 11, King Solomon was not after the Most High's heart like his father King David. All right, King David was counted perfect, even though he committed adultery. He still counted perfect. All right, because he was a servant after the Most High's heart. Verse 2, my help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. All right, it says, the sun shall not smite thee by the day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. And we just read about that. He said, the scriptures say, blessed should I be thy going out and thy going in, talking about he was with us during battle. All right, he was with us. He shielded and protected us. All right, that's when nobody could touch us at that point in time. All right, let's go back to Deuteronomy 28. Okay. And we'll start at go back to verse 8. All right, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 8. It says, the Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. The Lord shall establish thee in holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by thy name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. All right, shall be afraid of thee. Off the top of your heads, what's an example of that? Think about the history before we get into that blessing. When did that happen? When did that happen? When let's take a look. Let's take a look. What she got after done? All right. This is Joshua. You said Joshua 5:1. All right, let's read that. Joshua chapter 5, verse 1. And it came to pass when all the kings of the Amorites, which were on the side of Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that the Lord had dried up, dried up the waters of the Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we were passed over, that their heart melted, neither was there spirit in them anymore, because of the children of Israel. Exactly. So that means what? When they heard of us, they feared, because they knew that the Most High God was with us. All right, give me one moment. I'm just going to run to the restroom, blow my nose real quick. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Give me one moment. All right. All right, there we go. All right, great precept, great precept. All right, let's go through a few more examples. Let's go to the book of 2 Chronicles. You know what? Since we're right there in Joshua already, let's just go to chapter 2 real quick. I like this one as well. I'm sorry, Joshua 2. Kind of says the same exact thing. Start at verse 1 real quick. Joshua 2 and 1. And then we'll jump up to 9 just to show you who's saying it. It says, and Joshua the son of Nun sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, go view the land, even Jericho. And they went and came into an harlot's house named Rahab, and lodged there. So now let's jump up to verse 9. So we were spying out the land, right? And we came into a harlot's house. Her name was Rahab. Verse 9, it says, and she said unto the men, excuse me, I know that the Lord have given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when ye came out of Egypt, and what ye did unto the 2 kings of the Amorites that were on the other side Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. It says whom ye utterly destroyed. I just want to read Deuteronomy 28 and 10 again. All right, just showing you how these 2 examples definitely are fulfillment of this prophecy. It says, and all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. All right. Going back to Joshua 2, it says, for we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you. So think about it. Why did the Most High God do that to the Egyptians, right? Why did he allow the Israelites to be slaves under the Egyptians and then overcome the Egyptians like that? Why? Because the Egyptians were men of war. The Egyptians were the powerhouse on the earth at this time. All right, so the Most High God did all these great wonders so everybody would know about it. All right, he brought down the greatest nation in that time to not. All right, just to show his might. So in return, everybody who heard about that, all right, because that's going to circulate. If the greatest empire on the face of the earth falls, and everybody knows that it was because of the Israelites, that's gonna terrify everybody. All right, just like when he's gonna do it again this time in the place is called Sodom in Egypt. Okay. And what ye did unto the 2 kings of the Amorites that were on the other side Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. And as soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and in earth beneath. So it's going to come a time again when the heathen are going to have to admit that. They're going to have to admit that we are the children of the Most High God. And I want to read about that real quick, because that makes me feel good, all right? Let's go to Jeremiah 16. Jeremiah 16. And Abaddon, this is we usually only get through a few chapters. I must say, I do this all the time. All right, Jeremiah chapter 16 and 14. 16 and 14. Watch this. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. So that's what we just read about that. We just read about that that history when the Most High God delivered us out of the hands of the Egyptians. Verse 15. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So how do we know, what that's talking about? We know that's talking about future prophecy, because that hasn't happened yet. All right, talking about the land of the north, meaning the daughter of Babylon, which is United States, as we know. Verse 16 says, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. Talking about our enemies, we shall hunt them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, from out of the holes of the rock. Going into what? Going into their bunkers, the underground bunkers, because when those missiles come, they know the missiles are coming. All right, it ain't gonna be because of us. It's gonna be because of their evil doings. All right, the other nations are gonna turn on them because of their evil doings. It says, from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. 3 or 5. Let me look at it. Yep, 5. Watch this. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. Let's read verse 1. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. All right, made no account. That's talking about us. We're the ones who've been robbed and spoiled. We're the ones who've been made slaves. We built this nation, and we get none of the credit. All right? Esau really thought they'd done something. We're the inventors. We're the laborers. We built everything. All right? We created it all, but we don't get any of the credit. That's what it means when it says, made no account of his labors. Verse 2. When they see it, meaning when the heathen see us standing in great boldness, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. So this is what? This is just like what was written aforetime, what we're reading now in the history. When the other nations realize the great wonders that the Most High God did for the children of Israel, all right, to smite the Egyptians, their hearts melted, or their hearts fainted. All right, they were scared. They were scared. So just like it said in Jeremiah, no more is it going to be the God that saved us from the Egyptians. No, it's going to be the Most High God that saved us from the land of the north. All right, so all that's going to be forgotten. This is going to be the new thing on earth right here. When they see it, they shall be troubled with fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. All right, that's key. It says the strangeness of his salvation. Let me look at this one. Go say hold that. Go to Isaiah 66 and 5. Because in that day, when this is going on, that's what he's talking about in Isaiah 45 and 17. You shall not, you shall not be ashamed. Watch this. Isaiah 66 and 5. It says, you know what? I want to start up. Yeah, I also want to speak. I'll start at verse 5. It says, hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified. He shall appear to your door, and they shall be ashamed. So that's going into what? That's going into Esau, who broke the brotherly covenant. All right, those who hated you, those who had you as slaves. All right, and that day they're going to be scratching their head. They're going to feel stupid. Also going in the double fold, even the brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel who despised us and decided to cleave to the other nations, like it says in Isaiah the 13th chapter. In that day, they're going to be looking real, real stupid. All right, let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and 2. So this should be uplifting to y'all, brothers and sisters. All right, knowing what we in this fight for. All those, all those gainsayers that are making evil of us right now. You feel what I'm saying? In that day, they gonna have to come to the realization, like, damn, they was right this whole time. That is going to happen. So no, when people scoff us and mock us and talk evil and all of that, when Christ cracked the sky, the strangers of his salvation, when those chariots come, when those missiles come, and we save, and they not, they gonna be like, oh, shoot, they gonna have to feel that. So don't worry. They will feel that one day. And that's a beautiful thing. Lord's will, we can all, endure. So we don't have to be ashamed. All right. You know what? Let me read Isaiah 45 and 17 real quick before we go back. Isaiah chapter 45 and 17. Excuse me. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed, nor confounded, world without end. That's what it's talking about. The Most High God, we're not going to be ashamed because what? We're going to be the righteous standing in boldness, all right, for righteousness' sake. But the contrary, they will be ashamed. All right, when they see the strange salvation that we read about, they're going to be very ashamed. Let's go back. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with fear and shall be amazed at the strangers of their salvation. So far beyond all that they looked for, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. Talking about, hold on, these can't be the people of God. They can't be, all right? Because like it says in our Psalms, it says we were shaking of the head, all right? We were made a reproach. So it's like, no, this can't be the children of God. Look how low they become, all right? Verse 4 says, we fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. So they thought we would never rise up again. Once they got us in bondage, destroyed us, destroyed our, history, all of that. They thought we would never rise up again. Verse 5. How is he numbered among the children of God and his lot among the saints? So it's saying, how did this happen? Hosea 1 and 10. Hosea 1 and 10. All right. Saying, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. All right, it says, ye are the sons of the living God. All right, so I know we digress a little bit, but hey, we get some precepts in. That's good stuff right there. I think I got one more. Let me look at Romans 9 real quick, see if this is what I want. Nah, I'll let that go. All right, probably read one more verse in Deuteronomy, and then we'll end it for this week right here. Oh man, we'll end it. Let's see. Where are we at? Dang. I'm gonna have to get into it. All right. We gotta end it right there. Hey, if anybody had a question about what we went over, I'll answer it real quick. I also post the email. I'm sorry, y'all. It's called captivity. But we got some precepts in it for about 45 minutes. All praises. I'll answer any questions pertaining to what we went over. If you had any questions. Shall is kind of like should or will, Sister Shamar. You see that a lot in the scriptures. Shall come to pass or will. It's interchangeable with will. So I hope you edified by the understanding of the word shall, sis. All right. All praises. Yeah, man. Plantation time. But yeah, Lord's will. Give me one sec. Okay. Thank you for thy time and sacrifice. Hey, all praises. Happy new moon, Brother Abaddon. 1 Peter 2:12. Go. All right. Right. In the day of the Lord. Exactly. His visitation. That's good. Yeah, that's good. All right. I'm about to go and get ready if nobody has a question. And I know myself. Okay. Heck no. I mean, hey. No, I'm just playing, Sister Shamar. I just mess with you, sis. Of course, we the Israelites, you feel what I'm saying? We always gonna shine, even in the workplace, you feel what I'm saying? So, hey, we trying to do great things for the nation. So, hey, check this out. The scripture says, don't hate laborers' work. That's what the scriptures say as a man. So when we on these jobs, let's do what we got to do to provide, but also, why are we doing this? We doing this for our nation, you feel me? So, let's do our jobs at a good level so we can get promotion, so we can get paid more and help our nation and, take care of our families. So I'm going to go ahead and log off. Most High in Christ bless. Lord's will, I see y'all. Won't be here for the next 2 weeks. We got another trip. We're finna go, out of the country and teach this word. So I ask that y'all send up prayers for us. Most High in Christ bless y'all all. Lord's will, see y'all in about 3 weeks. Lord's will. All right, shalom, family. Most High in Christ bless.